So in the very first book of the Bible, the very first chapter, the first thing that God wanted us to know about himself and about ourselves is that we are created in the image of God. He said, let us make man in our own image according to our likeness. Then it goes on to say, and so God created man in his own image. Male and female, he created them. So when it says, when he said, let us make man in our own image, who was he talking to? I've often had these discussions with Bible scholars. It came to me today while I was praying and meditating that God is so powerful and so awesome that he was able to have a conversation with his own words. In other words, he was telling his word what he expected his word to accomplish in the creative process. And so he made a commandment and placed a mandate on his word. And as he was releasing his word into the atmosphere, he declared to his word that we are going to make man in our own image. God and his word are one. He watches over his word to perform it. And he sent his word and he spoke everything into being. And the most important thing that he spoke into being and instructed his word was when he said, let us make man in our own image. And so we are literally a carbon copy of the Most High God. We are divine to the degree that we were created in the image and the likeness of God. I don't think that's being talked about enough. We always talk about how bad we are and how bad things are and how unworthy we are. You hear that a lot in religious settings. But I propose to you today that if God is good and we were created in his image, there has to be goodness on the inside of us, to the core of our being. There has to be goodness. And when we were created in the image of God, it's on multiple levels: intellectual, spiritual, mental. So many dynamics of our being are a reflection of the Most High God. And I believe that we should meditate on those things consciously so that we can see the God that is within us. If we see ourselves created in the image of God, I think we'll make better decisions. We'll be more motivated and inspired to do good. But if we keep telling ourselves, or we keep listening to other people telling us how bad we are, the fact that we was born and shaped in iniquity, of course the word does say that, but the word only says that once. But oftentimes you hear this message being broadcast and just beat into the mind of people, whereas I think that you should broadcast the fact that we are created in the image of God. And if God is good, then we are good. That doesn't mean that we won't make mistakes, that we always do good, but the potential to do good and to live according to the standard of God is inside of every believer. I speak to conscious-minded believers this morning. You are created in the image of God. Another thing, we always talk about how worthy God is and his worth, as we should, because God is awesome. He's definitely worthy of praise. Along with that, we were created in the image of God. That identifies our worth. And so we are worthy of every blessing that God has given us because we are created in his image. And Christ came upon the earth to show us what a life of consciousness of the fact that we are created in the image of God, what it looks like, how to live it out. And we are worthy of every blessing that God has for us. Everything that He has assigned to us and for us, we are worthy of it. And we are good because we are created in His image. And as we reflect on that, it brings more success and peace and joy and happiness and prosperity in our lives. Yes, we go through seasons that are dark, that are lonely, that are painful, but we must delve deep within the core of our being and see that we are yet created in the image of God. And if we focus on that, that will be reflected in our present reality. Be blessed.